Academic freedom is the freedom to write and teach and think what you want in a university environment. It's not an unlimited free speech right, but it's freedom from outside interference in what I speak. So that's one bit. The other bit is that for that to be a meaningful freedom, the institution in which I work has to have institutional autonomy. It has to be relatively free from the state, relatively free from private interests. I think the outside world, people who are not in universities, think it's a privilege of profs. It's a privilege of somebody who's like me who has tenure. It's not a privilege. It's a right that is conditional on the performance of a certain duty. That is the duty of teaching and writing and publishing. And so it's a right, not a privilege, and it is intimately related to democracy itself. That is, I don't think you can have a democracy unless you have free institutions. Academic freedom is certainly under threat in some places. It doesn't exist in one of the largest countries in the world, namely China. The Indian government is moving in on academic freedoms that once were taken for granted in this great democracy. In Russia, it's effectively disappeared. In Hungary, where I used to work, it is very substantially circumscribed by a single-party state that is a member of the European Union, but has been encroaching on academic freedom everywhere. And then it's under threat, even in societies that protect academic freedom. It's under threat from internal pressures. I guess what could be called political correctness of various kinds. Political correctness from the left, saying you've got to be very careful what you say about race, sex, gender, and then pressures from the right wanting to impose a more conservative, respectful of religion kind of criteria. I think the most important thing is to begin the process, which will be very long, towards developing a statutory instrument with force of law to protect academic freedom in Europe. One of the discoveries that we made during the European Court of Justice case against Viktor Orban's expulsion of CEU was that European treaty law lacks any statutory definition of academic freedom. We need that. We need statutory definition of that. Education is a very closely guarded sovereign prerogative in all states. So there is a resistance beyond authoritarian populists to a statutory definition of academic freedom. But I think it's necessary. We've got quite a lot of statistics. We've got quite a lot of information. We've had endless conferences. It's one of these things that it's easy to give a speech about, but we've had enough speeches. This is a right that needs statutory protection under European law.